Hello, everyone. Welcome to SHITE, Series 2, Episode 3, WWF Backlash 2002. Hello, once again. I'm Andy Ogden, and joining us today, my partner in crime, Matty Edwards. Hello, Matty.
Hello, Andy. We're all right, mate. How are you? You good?
I'm not too bad, fella. Looking forward to dissecting.
Oh, yeah. So am I. Really am with this. Because I don't know, I've just got vibes, obviously, with it being called shite, that, like, obviously, you've picked this for a reason. And at the end of every episode, we go, is it shite or is it not? And I'm not putting me flag in the mast up to now, but I'd like to say already, or maybe not that, I think there'll be a little bit at the end where we'll debate. And I know with the guest that we've got on here, I've already got that feel already, especially with the certain match.
And joining us today, he's making his return after I made him suffer through a bit of sumo slam on ITV Celebrity Wrestling. From What Culture, it's the one and only Michael Hamflett. Hello, Michael.
Hello, mate. You all right? Well, as usual, it's a pleasure to be on with you both, but it's a pleasure to be on with you both, not necessarily a pleasure to cover all of the show we're about to cover. The joy is often in the conversation about the show we've watched rather than the show we've watched. I get where Matty's coming from. I'm going to hold my water a little bit as well. There are elements that I am so much higher on than I imagined I would be going in. And there are elements where, we need to have a serious word, Mike. A serious word. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will.
This show takes place on April 21st, 2002, from the Kemper Arena, which is known for Owen Hart's death, in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's the first WWF pay-per-view after the brand extension / split. Also, the last USA pay-per-view under the WWF name.
I mean, Michael, you go on that, mate. It's iconic, really, for that alone, isn't it? Like that's what I had in my notes as well. The last WWF pay-per-view as we knew it, mate.
It's crazy because obviously, like, we snuck one in, didn't we? Get an Insurrection, and that was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. And there's loads of little, obviously jumping ahead to how this all ends up. There's loads of daft little bits of trivia around the changeover, isn't it? Like the last ever shot of a WWF show is Hulk Hogan holding up the world title. Like the last ever shot from a WWF pay-per-view in America here. It's Hulk Hogan holding up the WWF title. There's a lot of things that kind of neatly work themselves out before they got the F out. But I remember, you'll probably have a memory of this now. Like, I remember the E was looming, or the change was looming, and we'd read about it for quite a while. And it was kind of a matter of time at this point, and it was more about whether it was going to be WWF or an entire new thing, how the logo was going to have to change. I remember a lot of conversation about what they were even going to change the initial to. I don't think anybody imagined them actually taking the F out, but it was all, you knew it was happening, didn't you? It was just what and when it was actually going to take place.
Because wasn't it? Remember what was that? Maybe was it business like meetings or when it was business talk? It was always WWFE, wasn't it? That was you seen that. I'm not mistaken there. That come up quite a lot. So like the E was always going to be there. But going to throw one in for you, Michael. That you'll probably be aware of this, but. And you, Andy, of course, mate. Sorry to blank you, the host. You know, right. It's been WWE longer than it ever was the WWF, Michael. What do you feel on that one?
I know. Matty, I'll get in on this early, actually. I've kept really, I'm going to have my Keegan moment now. I've kept really quiet about it. Like, I've just turned 40 I've just turned 40-year-old and I'm doing my best to cope with it, right? And little things like that come up where you get, it's been E longer than it was ever WWF. Cody's been back in WWE longer than he was ever in AEW. Smart man. But, there's lots of little time things like that that are coming about at the moment. And then I'm thinking, right, I'm turning 40, time to reflect, time to take a moment. Lots of lovely happy birthday messages from people online. And what message do I answer from one Matthew Edwards about turning 40? Congratulations on being the same age as Terry at WrestleMania 9. And it's just like, forget it, that's it. Let me off the ride, I'm done.
I've always got to throw that one in though, Michael, because that's the original one. That's the original shout that made me think, Jesus Christ, that opened up the doors for every shout, for every, like, I love it. But I had to, mate, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Talking about
you did the right thing.
About the name change to WWE. Have you ever felt yourself when you go through a train station giving dirty looks to the WWF people, the Panda people?
I mean, were they in business longer though? Like, they obviously had the right, and hence why the change happened. But I'm with you, Andy. Yeah, I do give it the old pose down, the old stare off, you know, as if it was an angle itself. If I'm at many a train station, yeah. But that's the only time you ever see it though, really, isn't it? You know. Or we've got a guy in work who sends charity money off to I think it's the WWF. So every time I see that, I'm like, oh, all right, fair play to you. Like, so, yeah.
Here's your answer.
It's fine. We've won in the end because we've reclaimed the Fed, haven't we? Like, the Fed is ours again. So it's like, at this point now, seeing as we've had the boom, we're all just saying the Fed again. So it's worked out for us in the
end. Matty, the World Wildlife Fund started in 1961.
Oh, there you go then, mate. You know, it was the WWF, wasn't it? So, like, at least, you know, they had it right. They were there first. This is like opening the story with, was it DDP sued Jay-Z, was it? Remember that? For the who done that first, the diamond sign. He got paid out though, didn't he? Dallas. That's why he's still doing the yoga now. He's still going off that money, isn't he? Sure, he got paid out.
And like, Vince just lied anyway, didn't he? He was at 1994 or something. He was like, right, I'll not say WWF in the UK, and he just did. Like, he just, like, the logo went out there. He just, they're probably not looking. It'll be fine. He just outright lied. So it was a matter of time, wasn't it, before they got him?
Yeah.
As ever on this show, we look at the single and album charts, what was popular at the time. So in around April 21st, 2002, the UK #1 single for 1 week was Oasis, Hindu Times.
You know what? Good song. I like that. Like, Michael's shaking his head there. Go on, Michael.
I just, for me, it's quite appropriate because I would say that's Ruthless Aggression Oasis. Like, I think that's... I think we're out of definitely New Gen and What's the Story, Attitude Glory, and we're well into like Ruthless Aggression or Oasis. Sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Matthew, by that point, sorry, the Gallaghers, they are well and truly standing on the shoulders of giants by this point. They've got nothing of their own anymore. Like, one of my pet hates from that era is Stop Crying Your Heart Out. Because it was just like, it is honestly like sticking a belt back on Hogan. They were just chasing another Wonderwall. You know, that whole thing where it's like just one more hit. And it was like, well, England will go out of a major tournament and everybody will buy that again. I was off the Oasis hype train by then.
So, you know, at Hindu Times, I'm still fully on board. That's obviously 02, as we're talking about. The one for me that killed me off, maybe this is like the guest host or the anonymous Raw general manager here, then if we're going that far, is that Elila, when that got to #1 in like 2005. I was like at the time, #1, it's shit, the song. And how people bought into it being like #1 though, like just going off the name, you know, like the Fed was in 09. Like, it's crazy.
And it was knocked off the charts the week after by Sugababes, Freak Like Me, which is a bang.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Gary Newman, is it? Sample, yeah. Unbelievable stuff, yeah. Love that one. Going to see them. Sure, you've seen them. I'm sure both you guys have seen them, actually. I'm going to see them for the first time in Bootle in July at an outdoor concert, so I'm looking forward to that one. You must have seen them, Michael, Sugababes, no?
No, like, I've never seen them, but it's like, I respect them. Again, if we're talking that elite tier, like I'd have Girls Aloud just a little bit above them.
Of course.
But I mean, it's Rock and Austin stuff that.
Yeah.
It's 1A, 1B, and you can pick your favorite. It's that sort of thing, you know. Yeah, there's not many times in the business where you get stars of the same aura at the same time, and that's Sugababes and Girls Aloud, isn't it? You know, it's like it was just a good time for the industry.
And what a collabo, isn't it? On Walk This Way? That is them two, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Girls Aloud. Yeah, that's where they go. Yeah.
The Aerosmith cover. There's good stuff.
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. Proper that.
The UK #1 album of the time was A New Day Has Come, not by Kofi and Xavier, but by Celine Dion.
Now, if we're talking way past the peak, but still selling arenas out or whatever, we're talking Celine Dion here. Jesus Christ, she's doing residencies in Vegas still, isn't she? Like, so what's that equivalent to? AEW running fucking that Chicago one or whatever for 3 months. I don't know. We've all got to laugh, lads. We've all got to have a little laugh. Who's buying it in 2002 though? Over here, why? We had this on time, didn't we? With but I tried to defend my art. We're going, I don't mind it, but the other lads were absolutely fucking hating it, just because obviously a bit older than myself, and it was like you just couldn't avoid it. And they're at that age where they're probably into more music, etc. Where I was a bit younger, obviously, and not that fussed by it. But I didn't mind. I still don't, to be fair. My art were going, but that's at least 5 years before this, isn't it? But I couldn't tell you the songs she released after the 90s, to be honest. Michael, could you name one?
Like, and it's not even like My Heart Will Go On was obviously the massive one, but it wasn't even her sort of. That was like her second peak, wasn't it? That was her second boom. Because she had like the Think Twice run in the mid-90s, and then like she got the Titanic rub, didn't she? And that was it. That was like.
Is that like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, is that like one of the like Rock going to the movies, like joining together and kind of like, we'll play off?
I don't even think it's that. I think like, because My Heart Will Go On was obviously massive, but I don't think it was necessarily reflective of the rest of her career. I think she's just like, that was just her having her Joe Hendry moment. She's got a table at WrestleCon for the rest of her life now. She's like, she's done the JOB to Randy Orton, but those pictures, those 8x10s, that's it now, you know, it's like, got them forever. She could run. Think about how many Titanic exhibitions there are, like Southampton, Belfast, Vegas. She could run all the Titanic towns forever.
Literally, though, yeah.
Just to end
it's all the business, isn't it? It's all right.
Everything, life is the business. It is. Love it.
Just to end this section, April 2000. Yes, we do. April 2002 also featured the funeral of the Queen Mother and David Beckham injuring his metatarsal.
Oh, mate. Now that was like, obviously, how old was I? 15, just about turning 16. And contrary to belief, lads, I used to be actually quite clever in school. I was always top of the class until I discovered other things, like when you're 14, 15, 16. I was quite clever, but it was like, has anyone ever heard that word metatarsal in their lives? No. It's like they just thought, because it's Beckham, we'll give him something cool sounding, or a bit more intrigue, we've got to look into this. It wasn't just he pulled his hamstring or whatever was it. It was like a metatarsal. He made it famous, and he's probably proud of that as well.
It's like any time any kind of big cultural event happens, and then there's like a new word that gets out, and then everybody's talking like they've been saying it all their lives. Like you know, when there was like the lockdowns and stuff, there'd be a different thing every week. It'd be like nobody ever had said the phrase social distancing, and then you say it so much you can barely imagine a time where you didn't in that period. That was it. It was like, well, it's going to be the metatarsal. Like I definitely hadn't heard of a cruciate ligament until I was about 14, 15, and football and stuff. That was it, you know. Like a wrestler would, after post Triple H, if a wrestler went down holding the leg, be like, well, that'll be the quad. That'll be the quad.
I was about to say that, Michael. Yeah. You know what the best one for me was, though? I've always shuffled it with my neck, and I remember reading in Power Slam, and I think it was when Edge and Christian and the Conquistadors gimmick in 2000. So Christian had the stinger, didn't he? So they had to like cover up he not wrestling. And whenever I had a sore neck, I used to say like to the PE teacher or anything, "Oh, I've got a stinger." I used to love just saying that, just knowing off power slam, just proper fucking loving it. Oh, the best.
I've definitely done that before when like somebody's if they've got a pain around the front. I've been known to ask if it's in the sternum or the bread basket and just see like what you get out of that, you know, just to get a rough idea of the area, you know.
Oh, the best.
Anyway, let's get into the show. The show open with Hogan's story about winning the fans back. In his way, another politicking wanker, Triple H, who says Hogan was one of his idols. I don't think I saw Harley Race doing much posing back in the day.
He definitely just shoehorned that in because he was an NWA guy, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Flair and Harley, he hated Hogan, didn't he, Michael? Come on, he was hating him.
Yeah, no. Hogan was that guy, wasn't he? Like around this time where they could just have anybody from the main roster say, "Oh, I loved Hogan," and then they would do the posing routine with him. And like they did it with Shawn. You remember in like the 2005 run where like Shawn was like, I need Hulk Hogan for Backlash. It's like you hated Hulk Hogan. You hated him. Like,
my first thing here, that Backlash set. The
first note I've got, mate, that every little change they done, like this, like they had one where it was flat ramp, but them swinging hooks on this girder ramp, perfection. Probably the best one for me, like unbelievable. And even when everyone's walking out, I'm thinking someone's literally controlling that, waiting for them to come out, aren't they? This isn't just like it's swinging and you've got to take your chance and walk through. Some sod sitting there for like 3 hours to control this like you control like a model railway or a scale electric or something. Just love it, loved it. No, genuinely, like one of the best entrances of all time for sure.
Any thoughts,
totally
Michael?
agree. I totally agree. Like it's the one we all lament now, isn't it? The sort of like back, it's the easy example to go to when there was always sets like this. You know, there would be a point where they weren't all as creative as this. They didn't all look as good, but there was at least a sort of safe bet that you were going to get something or other made out of metal or some kind of like scene with some old bins or some old cars down the front, or like I think we've all shared our love of the ginormous King of the Ring chair. From 2001, it didn't necessarily matter what it was going to be. Just the knowledge that you were going to get something was better than nothing. But I agree with Matty as well. Like they've had the pincers on the floor level, but this being as raised as it was, like the whole thing looked about like 30 feet in the air, didn't it? Compared to the ring when you saw like the wrestlers coming out, so they were in like the bright light. And it's funny you mentioned about the controls. I've got a note later on for one of the matches. Typically, the pincers would like part ways and let the wrestlers through. But I think it was Edge. There were one that it was coming for him, and I was wondering if it was like a rib, like somebody with a button was like, get him. And just like, because a couple of the times it did swing right through. But now, like the height of this one, proper made it. AEW, like it's a free hit. Like they should be taking advantage of everything they can that WWE don't do anymore. And how much do people talk about the stack of poker chips at the first Double or Nothing? As a simple bit of set dressing. Like we were just talking about Double or Nothing being in Arizona this year, right? They've lost Vegas because they can't compete with the big league, the majors. But they've moved to Arizona. Like get some frigging neon cactuses or dress the stage like a desert or something like that. You know, like just you're a billionaire with pocket money to spend. Do it differently. People love that, and it would make it more memorable. You know,
definitely. You got the space to do it as well. So
this is already feeling like a squash. This, come on, I
know. Let's keep it. Let's keep it nice now.
So the theme for Backlash was "Young Grow Old" by Creed.
This is hashtag not my Creed. This, and I'm a big Creed guy, you know, Andy.
But Matty, on the Netflix version, this has been changed over for some other generic new metal tune.
Yeah. Because I'm quite on. That's how I'm not ashamed to say. Like, that's obviously the time where I was getting into new metal, and the crossover was there. Like, big wrestling fan, and they always used the themes, like, you know, Control, Puddle 'Em Up. Obviously, they're not new metal, but it's all under the umbrella of Kerrang and Scuzz at the time. So And I can usually go, well, that's that event. But there's the odd few like this where I was like, oh, I've never heard this or don't know who the band is even. So, yeah, it was news to me, this one then.
WrestleMania 7, it's funny you mentioned Kerrang and Scuzz there, Matty, as the reference point. Like WrestleMania 17, in the same way that like the business fell off, that was where my love of new metal peaked with like My Way. And I was kind of, because I was obviously a couple of years older than you, I was like, right, it's never getting better than My Way. I'll get off the train. And I was like, I was definitely like more into what Steve Lamacq was playing on Radio 1, and I was shifting to MTV2 and getting into my like soft boy indie guitar music over the new metal. I was like, well, Fred and the lads have completed it with My Way. I'll get off the train now. Like so this.
You know what it was with me though, Michael, seriously, and even like to this day, I haven't left like 2003 really with my music. The odd obviously stuff here and there, of course, but it was just the fact of that I couldn't get past like that English boom. Like I couldn't get into them English bands, Michael, and it was all just American for me. Even like A without Wendy, the English new metal band, and I was like, yeah, and I'm sorry, but you know what I mean. I was never like, but like, no, I don't like them either. They're from England. I can't be having that. I was just one of them people. But now, even to just complete the circle, there's actually new metal, isn't there? NEW, new metal, and that's kind of a wave of like, it started like pre or maybe just after the pandemic, and my cousin sent me a couple of tracks. Like, is it tech? I don't know how to pronounce them, Tetrach, or they're quite good. And there's a few bands like that are trying to bring it back, and yeah, right. So that's probably my newest music, but still an old genre. So yeah. That's me to a fault.
So on this show, we have JR and the King on commentary, which was like a comfy pair of slippers listening to them once again. It does. You're like not watching the show for ages and just hear them two. It's just like, oh.
But it's even that, like Michael's saying about WrestleMania 17 being like, you think that's when everything reset. I know it's years on. That's always the point you go back to, but it is, even though you knew the King and JR was still there to like 2008, is it? It's 8, isn't it? Where JR gets shocked. It's still like, it is still bizarre also to think, yeah, they were still going that long, because you just think of them in that attitude era more, don't you? So it's, but as you say, always good, always comforting and good to hear.
Yeah.
I tell you what was interesting from the off air, because we were starting with the Cruiserweight title match. It was interesting. They hadn't yet realised that it was going to benefit them to have both brands doing commentary. So Cole, JR and King were talking about a program that they hadn't really been watching. Like obviously Jim Ross knew everything inside and out, but Jerry Lawler was speaking because he wasn't watching SmackDown. He was talking as if like Tori Wilson had been off TV for 3 months or something. Like he just showed you that he did no prep, did he? And then they start. I think it was after this one. I think the first one after this, they put like Cole and Taz in a little bit up in the building and allowed them
Skybox or something.
Like, 5 minutes every now and then they realized sooner or later it was like time to get both tables at ringside and give them the even split.
So, as Michael said, there, match number 1 involves Tori Wilson managing on the outside in a kimono with Tajiri versus Billy Kidman. Now, Kidman coming out to the WCW theme here, not the
I mean, obviously, this is the best theme, but got a lot of time for that one, Andy. Or Theme Addict, Volume 6, that one that you've just so gratefully done. Yeah, I've got, mate. Is that broke? Is that one? I love that
person. On the cover, it's the person reaching for the CD, isn't it? Yeah.
That was when Evolutions was on there, though. That was the first time, like, you could get your hands on Evolution's theme and a few others, but that's the one that stuck. Not Hiding Rights, Michael, no. Who wasn't a fan of that one?
No, not so hot on that one.
Oh God! So Matty,
yes,
thoughts on this match?
You know what? I thought right from the off, this was good. This was, as it's 2002, and you're not thinking of the cruiserweights per se, and you think of it when they come in with the invasion, and then I automatically go to like when Rey Mysterio, maybe 2003, and Matt Hardy had it. So this is a bit of I wouldn't say a blind spot, maybe that's not the right term, but you're just a bit forgetful run with the cruiserweight title. But this. Honestly, this is an idea, like as I keep saying, boring people listening every time. But like, I've watched everything. I want to go back again with this older head now and watch everything again, like a little cruiserweight, like, because they're all going to be good, aren't they? Genuinely, like at the time, like even like when Spike was having it and Funaki and others, you just was But looking back now, they'd be good matches. So it'd be good as a little mixtape or an idea to go back and watch some of them. But you know, Tajiri's one, you know, always one of my favorites. Kidman, you know, he can be hit and miss for me, but when he's on, he's pretty good. So yeah, I love this, and I love the story behind it. You know, obviously Tajiri's just turned heel, and you've got that going on with Tori, and obviously they're not nodding the fact that Tori and Kidman are an item at this time, are they, on commentary or not? But yeah, just a lot of good stuff in this, and I thought it was a good way to start the show.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I agree. The big takeaway for me from this was just like how well. I mean, for one, Tajiri shouldn't have been turned heel. It was clearly just that like inherent old white man racism from Vince McMahon to assume that because he's Japanese, sooner or later he has to be a baddie. Because you can't tell me that everything he wasn't doing in this match still wasn't getting a monster pop. And he's so desperate to get booed that I was just really impressed with like how busy he was on the heat. Like if you watch, because obviously he's got to take all the heat, he's constantly moving, he's constantly doing stuff, but it just so happens that all the stuff he does is getting over. So like he'll lay in a kick, or he'll lay in a punch, or he'll drag Kidman to the corner, then slide to the floor and hit him with another kick or whatever, because he wants to be Tajiri. And what would Tajiri do if he was on top of you? He'd just stay on top of you, bombard you with all the strikes. But like the audience loves it. They're just like Kidman gets a good reaction for his comebacks. He gets like a nice pop whenever he's firing back up. But they're now compared to the Tajiri ones. Like Tajiri's stuff gets the loudest reactions in these matches. There's like a nice point where I think Kidman gets like a really, really hot 2 count off that like tiger bomb from the top rope. When he's just made like a desperation comeback. But beyond that, every massive reaction here is for the stuff that Tajiri's doing, but they've turned him heel because he's from Japan, so he's got to be a heel ultimately. And I think it's almost a shame that like that 2001 run where he got over on night one, and you knew he would, doing a carbon copy of his ECW stuff. Like it was a shame that they felt like, well, there's a ceiling on that, and we've got to do the sort of old-fashioned stuff to keep him involved. It's because there was clearly a longer babyface run for Tajiri than what we ever got. Like based on evidence of this one match, you can tell there was so much more to do with him as a babyface.
But like you say, everything he does though is so crisp and cool, though, isn't it? And it looks great. It sounds great as well. It's just he's brilliant, Tajiri.
I always think of that his debut match, weren't it, against Crash Holly, where just instantly kicked the shit out of him. And
perfect opponent there though for that as well with Crash.
Yeah,
purely.
It's just like the crowd had not seen anything like this before, and just instant reaction. Obviously, he had the stuff with Regal and what have you. There's a couple of points during this match. Jim Ross on commentary, as ever, points out about Tajiri has a degree in economics from the University of Japan. He always knew the background of these wrestlers, the GCSE results and their all levels.
But you know when he actually got it right, though, Andy? Do you know when he actually got it right and it made sense? Who cares? I'm one of them. Who cares? I'd rather have the Barbarian. You know, I don't want to know the Barbarian went to college. He's a wrestler. I don't care. I really don't give a fuck. It's not real. You know, that's not like. You know, I hate that.
Barbarian got a scholarship playing for the Oklahoma Antlers or something like that. Like that.
As ever during this match as well, we had the powerbomb reversed into a face buster by Kidman.
Never powerbomb Kidman.
Never powerbomb Kidman. You had the shooting star press missed by Miles. The spot where you said about the tiger driver off the top rope, that was class. You had the red mist as the finisher. 1, 2, 3. Tajiri wins the belt. After the match, you have Michael Cole dressed like Terry Waite, trying to interview Tajiri, but Tajiri speaks Japanese and grabs Tori and wanders off.
I mean, Cole, as Michael said earlier, not getting the dual commentary gig. It's getting his face on camera though, isn't it, and getting him a bit of camera time. But yeah, I just agreed. I just thought a good opener. Obviously, he had to be the heel and cheat to win to try and, as Michael said, to try and keep him over as a heel, even though he's getting decent reactions for his move. So, all in all, just a good way to start the show. Definitely.
Yeah.
So WCW Cruiserweight title still kicking around is nice as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, that was
just with the logo change.
Nice,
yeah.
Such a nicer belt than that one that they brought back for that. Like, well, I say brought back the Ray and the Matt Hardy one, that newer Cruiserweight one that you associate with like Chavo dicking around with Hornswoggle, don't you? But it wasn't as good as.
Let's not go there, Michael. Let's not go there. But also, what did we reckon on the Cruiserweight they brought back? That purple one. Was anyone ever a fan of that one in like 2017? No, anyone?
Oh, that's the 205. 205 live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
No, it was like the thing is, it's like it's not really the done thing to like a thing like this, but that division was clearly dead on arrival. That I got like a bit of a sick joy watching like every other week when they'd send Enzo Amore out to just work shoot promos on the entire division, and it was just like he would say this line, and then your old forum head would be going, you can't be doing that to the cruiserweights, and then on the other hand you'd be going, but he's not lying though, is he? There was that line about like what size is that shirt? Is it a schmedium? And you're like, well, that's him dead forever. Like you've just committed murder there.
That was that show in Manchester, the same one that AJ Styles won the belt on. Like they had 205 live after. What a come down that were.
They would do that. I went to a show around that time where it was like they would say like, anyway, we're going to tape 205 live, but like stick around because there's going to be frigging AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns or something. They'd like load up the house show main event as a please don't leave. Like we've taken the ropes up purple now. We need some people to be in the building for it. Like
what's the most famous match? Was it Buddy Matthews versus Ali? Was that the one that they just literally went balls to the wall and it actually is a banger? It's like 20 minutes. Unbelievable stuff, yeah.
There's a couple in there, aren't there? A couple.
Yeah. And Cedric was in a couple of them as well, actually, against Ali. I think any combination of the three there, delivered.
Next up, we have Bradshaw meeting Farouk backstage, and they split up in the draft.
Now, see, this is another one. Like, obviously, I like to put myself up with history and such like that against people and not remember things. But this, once again, it's like, you forget with this initial brand split, it weren't just like the Dudleys that they split up. You forgot the APA actually split up before they split up. Later on, it's just dead weird seeing this because he tried, obviously, Big Tex and Bradshaw on his own, didn't he? Obviously, it's in the shoulders with Steve and the likes on Raw. And then he ended up just being the hardcore champion. Where remember that? Speaking of belts, this is around. Remember the Texas hardcore title?
They all, honestly, man, they were all just getting away with murder. Bradshaw got his own Texas belt. Tommy Dreamer got his little license plate New York one, didn't he? Like it meant anything. When he wasn't eating soap from the toilet, he was wearing a New York hardcore title.
Undertaker's tobacco juice, remember that?
He's like bringing it to work, like David Brent bringing his guitar in from home in the office. That like, can I wear this, Dad? Yeah, I don't know if these clock this. Like the APA had been split up for 2 weeks. You think it had been like 5 years, wouldn't it? Can you remember? You say about how Bradshaw eventually got his push as like a hard nut cowboy for a bit before they just got bored and put him back together in 2003. You know, obviously Ron Simmons briefly ended up with Devon. Can you remember what brought them together on SmackDown in the summer? Can you remember what because they were rivals at first and then they ended up as a team. Can you remember what they were having a bit of a feud over?
It's become I've seen the video on Twitter lately. Am I on the right things? I can't remember what the context was though. It's something like sexual, maybe. It's something along them lines, or it is, isn't it? I can't. It's gonna do. Go on. I'm gonna know what you're saying.
No, not a clue. Not a clue, mate.
Not making this up. Farouk likes wanking.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Farouk's like, I'm bang into it. And Devon's like, that's disgusting. You're appalling. And Farouk's like, nah, I'm going to good fight for having a wank. And then they feud a little bit. And then they just end up as a tag team.
Is that the genesis of why Devon ends up as Reverend Devon as well? Probably will.
Honestly, it's that Paul Heyman Mind Games thing on Vince McMahon when he was given the book in 2002, because he wanted to just push all his wrestlers. He's like, right, I'm getting away with doing the SmackDown 6 and having all these class work rate matches. I need to distract Vince, so Definitely. I'll do wanking storylines, and I'll do
Al
Billy
Wilson.
and Chuck, and Al Wilson getting shagged to death. All of that was to blatantly keep Vince McMahon over here, so he could book friggin' Chavo Guerrero to go 15 minutes a week. That was how he got what he wanted. Like, was it?
And people say Heyman's a genius. Booking Chavo. Yeah. Who's the odd man out of them 6 though, lads? It's Chavo Guerrero.
Who's the odd man out in any 6, Matty? It's always Chavo.
So our second matchup, it's Bradshaw versus Bong Chicka Wank Wank. It's Scott Hall of NWO 2002 coming out with X-Pac. Thoughts on the old NWO in 2002? It's gone to shit just like that.
Well, it is, and obviously with hindsight and with the years looking back and knowing what, you know, us being the fans we know about everything, like it is easy to say, but I was excited at the time, even though, you know, I was just to see them on WWF TV, you know what I mean? I know they were way past the selling point, what, 2-3 years at this point, but it felt like 10 years. But I still wanted to see what they'd look like in WWF, and just seeing Hogan back at the time was like, how's this even going to look? How's this even going to work? This as well. And obviously, what was I saying? 15. So I kind of know what's going on, but I'm not thinking, well, Steve doesn't want to work with him, or who's he going to work with at this? I'm not really into that at the point. So I was all for it, but obviously, with what we know now, it was never long for the world, was it?
You know, I think just how quickly the wheels fell off was the shock, wasn't it? Like, you knew, I'm with you. I wanted, like, No Way Out. Everybody was glued, weren't they?
Yeah, like that, a big buy rate as well at the time.
Yeah, that was a hook. That was definitely a hook. But I think it was just when I even think internally when they gave away that massive tag match on the WrestleMania Go Home, I think so that's a tell, isn't it? It's like we've got a WrestleMania cycle out of them, and then after that, anything's a freebie. And then, like, after WrestleMania, they were happy to get Hogan out of the way. The best thing about the NWO at this point, talked about this might be a controversial take, I don't know. I think Scott Hall's NWO trunks here are better than any of the ones he ever had in WCW. I think the NWO gear looks class in WWF. Like, Nash gets it on his vest, and X-Pac gets the black and white shorts. Booker T has the NWO trunks for a week. Just they look like wrestling trunks that have been like stamped or branded with the NWO logo, and that's like Scott Hall especially being like, this is the Fed. I have to take this extra seriously. I cannot like branding matters here. I could fart about and do what I wanted with Too Sweet or whatever in WCW, but I'm back here now. I need to like take this bit of it seriously.
You forgot one member in the NWO there, Michael. What did you reckon on Shawn Michaels? Just looking well in his, you know, in his NWO Fed t-shirt with that Kangol hat.
The Kangol hat, yeah. Look, none of them ever looked better than Shane Douglas. That's what they were trying for. They were all trying to top injury era Shane Douglas, and none of the clique could do it. Triple H tried, Shawn tried, none of them could touch him.
Definitely not.
So this match is a battle of the sack of shits, isn't it? They both
it is.
Do that maneuver, but was this match a sack of shit? I think it was. Matty.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got the end line in my notes. It's just not much here. I'm always trying to be more polite, Andy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't good, was it? I mean, what was in here? You had a couple of obviously good digs by Scott Hall, but you're always going to get. I could watch a match of him just literally hitting digs all day long. And then you get the clothesline from L, a low blow. But, and I'm sorry to jump to the finish, but I'm hoping you guys were on this. That roll-up looked a little bit too stacked. That was definitely to try and wind Bradshaw up and to try and test him backstage whether he got on. Did you see how much he was leaning over to try and definitely testing him there? But nothing else much to say about that match, lads.
Big Bad John still wanted a 3.1 as well, didn't he? He was still trying to like roll the shoulder. He's a rotter, man. I've not got a lot of nice things to say, but I have to. It's a bit like the meeting backstage. I'm not going to give credit to Farouk and Bradshaw here, but I am going to criticize the booking. Was there any sort of like bigger response to the fans that already didn't really like what they were getting from the brand extension than the pop that Farouk and Bradshaw got when they hugged in this match? I say, it had been 2 weeks, and it was already the audience saying, right, we don't really like much about this product anymore, and now you're taking away our nostalgia as well. Like there was an immediate sense with I was in favor broadly of the brand split because something needed to change, and I was open to the idea of a proper split and whatever. But there were certain moves they made that just seemed like sort of needlessly disruptive, and the reaction these two got, like I say, you'd think that this was like they'd been in different companies for 5 years or something, but it was just this, like the music, just the APA music when Farouk comes down to help to even the odds. Like the fans are like, oh, thank God, something we actually like. And it was just, and I guess there's no accounting for taste because it's only the APA. But I think it was just that they'd lost the Dudleys as well. And, you know, like a lot of acts were being shunted to one side, and certain main eventers from the Attitude Era suddenly weren't looking their best. And I don't know, there was just, I felt like there was a real
You've always not liked Undertaker, Michael, to be fair.
That's it. Yeah, it's a dead man. Yeah. There was just a real thirst for the stuff that they were already missing. That's what I read from that hug. And it was just, you were going to get that a lot for the next 20-ish years of fans saying like, of various points on the show, fans going, I don't think that's the direction you should be taking, and it kind of starts here. It does. Like this is that turning point, I think.
But you remember? No, I agree with that. Like APA, like you're saying there about taste and such. We're never obviously the match team, but they were one of them barroom brawls, mate, and stuff like that. He got over the gimmick, the protection, of course, paying off. I used to love all that stuff. It was an easy, just as you say, creative thing to plug in on a show, or whether it be a mid card match or even in main events, you could just plug them in anyway with that role, and they were sound. But do you remember when they actually did a split up like for good? And I like the way they done it. Once again, I'd have to watch it back to get it, the whole context. But it was like he didn't turn on, did he? Like Bradshaw, they just went their separate ways. But you knew Bradshaw was gonna stick around, and Ron wasn't. Am I right there, Michael?
Yeah, it was. So what had happened was they were either going to get fired or released in kayfabe, obviously.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman was basically, Bradshaw, you don't both have to go. There is opportunities for you here. And Bradshaw on screen sort of took the money effectively. And like he was willing to take the job over his friendship with Big Ron. And then that was it. Like a week later, he was out in the suit. I actually saw the house show tour where they piloted that. Like Bradshaw comes out to help John Cena, who's the babyface. This is like in April, just after WrestleMania 20. And you think he's going to help John Cena, and then he turns on him with a clothesline. And you're like, what's this? And Bradshaw, still in his APA gear, works as a heel. And it's obviously all a test run for what they're about to do on television, which is quite interesting at the time.
Love that.
But yeah, that's so that it was a very, because obviously Guerrero had said, hadn't he? He's like, I'm struggling. I need some help. And they thought, right, well, we're going to have to strap the rocket to somebody. And they must have just thought, let's give it a try. Yeah. Let's give Bradshaw a go. So they must have been road testing it before they actually put it on TV.
Great stuff.
So next up, you have a bit with with Vince McMahon in the back with Flair and Arn. Flair says he'll never be Vince McMahon. Let's swiftly moving on anyway. Match number 3 is for the WWF Women's title, which is Trish Stratus versus Jazz.
Trishu.
Jazz.
Stratus, was that the like pronunciation there?
Going on Lord Alfred Hayes there. It's me cold, mate. Sorry.
It's all right, fella.
But before we get to the match, we have Molly Holly with an absolutely dreadful theme. Dum 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 dum. Where?
This was like, I mean, this 2002 in general, obviously, like I keep saying, needs to be studied. That before the brand extension is just a wild west thing. Like as Michael said, NWO, Big Boss Man knocking about Mr. Perfect. It's just bizarre in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get to the brand split, like Michael said again, with the splitting teams up, the trying new gimmicks with most. It is obviously a proper reset in most ways, isn't it? And Molly and such is part of that, Andy. But yeah, that theme tune's awful, isn't it? Absolutely, there's just nothing to it. But before the match starts, this is like, you know, the fully behind Trish. She got a win at a Survivor Series for the first title, and they're giving her someone to protect her in defeat without jumping too far ahead again. Sorry, lads, but I just like the way they give Trish that. And yeah, Jazz is another. This era, this is actually a quietly underrated women's era for me. This because when Victoria comes in, they have the Survivor Series hardcore match, which is great. And Jazz was one of the best at the time as well, helping these, like, you know, newer girls along. So yeah, I like this overall, to be fair.
Yeah, Michael.
I absolutely loved this match. I loved it. Jazz and Trish always had great chemistry, and I can only assume that one of the reasons was because obviously Trish was doing so much learning on the job, and they always credit Finlay, don't they, with obviously agenting and helping them put it all together and doing all the coaching. Jazz must have been so easy for Fit to coach because he would have said to her, right, you're going to physically dominate. So like they must have been sort of rehearsing stuff and going through stuff. And it must have been so easy, not easy, but it must have been such less of a challenge for them to put that together when it's like, right, Jazz, you're going to monster these women. And then in the case of Trish and Lita or whoever, you're going to be the babyface that's got to fight out from underneath. And you can't hit her hard enough. She will always be harder than you. So feel free to swing for it. So the shots that these two are fighting, they are laying it in. And you really, really sense that they're still fighting for approval. They're fighting for that respect backstage. This is years before Michelle McCool was bollocked for wrestling like a man. That was what she was told, wasn't she? Stopped wrestling like a man. Yeah. So like this was obviously where they were encouraged. Like Jim Ross, you could tell. Jerry Lawler was like constantly trying to get his pervert shite out, and Jim Ross was saying, "I don't know about that, like, but you want to see this," and he would steamroll over it because he was seeing that the work they were doing, and it was getting like the back thing at the start with the stairs was such a smart bit of business because that immediately gave Trish the glowing red spot on her back. So the fans, like Rose Ed, as John Cena would say, Rose Ed could understand the story being told at this point. Jazz is going to target the back. Trish is always going to be underneath. And they hammered it. And the work was tight. Like it was really, really tight. Like some of the stuff that this was the era, of course, like the Jackie Gator match. So like Trish every now and then would whiff on bits. Nothing here. Nothing got missed. Like there was a point where it was like another like Trish did like the handstand Hurricane Rana that she would sometimes be a little bit wobbly in. Absolutely nailed it, getting a massive pop. Didn't really have the name at the time. Like Jazz hitting that like massive power bomb on her, just like folding Trish in half. The punches versus the forearms, like laying it in. I thought this was tremendous. And then just a clean, as much as a clean finish that protected Trish because she was still selling the back. But like just transitioning from a Boston Crab into an STF because it was going to keep her away from the ropes. That's what a champion does. That's super credible. I remember the women's division was like a ray of light at this point on Raw because Raw was going to shit really bad, really quickly with the grim sort of sports entertainment, and it was going to get worse. But like the women's division of all things seemed to like escape that, and they were just being allowed to get on with it. Once a week, you would get a match like this, and I bet you there's a ton of gems still kicking around in that specific period.
Definitely.
I think one, as you mentioned, like Jazz focused on the back. There was a spot where the Stratusfaction got turned into a back suplex by Jazz, which was not so long before the actual finisher with the Boston Crab into the STF. My final note was, for the time, a step above the usual.
Yeah, it was.
Certainly. Very good.
Solid.
Next up, following what was a very decent match, was Paul Heyman smelling Lita's knickers the week before on Raw.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Fucking awful stuff.
brutal to watching it. It's like it is you are watching through your fingers watching this.
Genuinely, yeah.
So this is building up the match between Brock Lesnar and Jeff Hardy. So stuff on the promo package included Lesnar F5ing Matt on the stage. This is Lesnar's first official match. Jeff comes out to the Television X theme, but Lesnar has some generic dirge.
Oh no, Andy, no, lads, no, not for me. I think I'm a big fan of this OG Brock theme. Like these Uncaged on Spotify, lads. I mean, just get them on loop. They're the best. Like these, and Andy, for years I was the same. I was like, nah, it doesn't compare to like the next big thing theme and all that. But as the years have gone on, I absolutely love this theme, and I love this. We are, say what you want about Brock Lesnar, but this early carnation of him when he first come in, I just love it because it's the unknown. You've never seen nothing like him. It's the sheer freakiness of him, the power, the speed. It's everything, and it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And once again, with me being that young, I'm not piecing it together that like this is clearly the guy they've chosen. But even with not thinking that, you just can't deny what you're watching. He was just something like you'd never seen before. A proper hybrid, wasn't he was.
I was going to say, Matty, when you were saying about themes, not this Lesnar theme, but the Batista theme with the bagpipes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That is still class theme, really class theme.
I've got a bit of a guilty pleasure in this same vein. Again, from a Backlash. I think Backlash 99. I like that first stab they take at Triple H's theme.
Do you like that? That's one of them Uncaged, Michael. That's a rare one, that mate. That's a one-off, I think. On Raw the next day, so. I think they add something in. He tried loads, didn't he, with him?
Well, it was Triple H. They tried absolutely everything, but he's got like he's got really nice tights that night as well. He's flipped his black and silver around, and he's starting all of a sudden magically. You've started to notice his shoulders get a lot broader. It's mad, like how he does that as a heel. But yeah, like he's starting to grow into himself a bit. You know.
Come on, Michael. It's them 3 extra chicken breasts. Now, come on.
That's it. And it was all the broccoli at catering was going to the game, wasn't it? That was,
Michael, any thoughts on early Lesnar? Were you a fan?
How could you not be? Like, to echo what Matty said there, like a total phenom. There wasn't. I remember. So my memories of Brock Lesnar were he debuted, and like a lot of the time, the OVW names you would read about from the American reviewers online that were watching the shows in their local areas. So I remember names like Brock Lesnar, Prototype, Shelton Benjamin and the like from these OVW write-ups, and then basically pretending to my friends that weren't as interested that I'd seen all the tapes. So I was telling lies about these developmental prospects. Then when Brock arrives, it's like, say, I told you Brock was the real deal, didn't I? Yeah. Like wait till you see his shooting star press, like the kind of nose out here, like the and like sort of John Cena arriving by his real name and being like, they've ruined him. They should have kept him as the prototype. I'm just saying shit. But Brock was like delivered more than I think he expected, because it seemed like he was being given a free pass to like just steamroll through guys as well. Like, it's funny. I've been loving Andy, you doing nothing and like it. And I remember getting the first time we saw Burchill, and it was an obvious love letter to early Brock, wasn't it? The first time, hang on, the UK has got a Brock. And then you watch early Brock again, and you're like, there's levels, isn't there? There's levels to this game. Burchill was decent, but like to even attempt to be a Brock is a bit of an early Brock is a lofty goal. And I have to say, it's watching this, I did get a lot of echoes of where we're at currently with Bron Breakker, genuinely. Like, as we're recording this, I was thinking to myself, when you piece together, like, Brock Lesnar was missing some stuff here. I didn't think his instincts in the match were particularly good. He would stand still for that extra second, and it would break the immersion, almost as if he was, right, what's the bit I'd normally do when I'm kicking the shit out of them? He would look at Paul Heyman, and it was almost like a way to excuse that his brain was still catching up with what was coming next. And I actually think Breakker's in front of him for that. But the physical side of it, they're both quite similar. That just like, there's an excitement when they're around because there seems no stopping them. There's no rules. They're gonna do something that feels like they're kind of breaking the laws of pro wrestling because They're different beasts, and he is like I've got a bit of a soft spot for Jeff Hardy. Like I think when you take Matt out of the way, it's addition by subtraction because you get to see Jeff as a singles guy, and he feels like a bigger star. But like
he could have been. You in the doldrums with me, mates, for them 20 years, as you like to say. But if it weren't for his issues and so, he was the man. You know, that 09. I always say very rare in this business. You get men, women, and children, all three demographics loving you, and they all love Jeff Hardy. He was like the 09 run was. I'm like you. He gets a bit of a bad name because he's attached to Matt Hardy. He always got time for it. All of his singles runs, even like when he come back in 06 before they put the Hardys back together, enjoyed that IC feud with John Morrison and such like that.
Yeah.
The Umaga stuff, underrated 07, 08, fucking great stuff. That honestly, even the Triple H stuff, even Triple H tried, but he got to win over Triple H as well. It's like there's some things, you can't deny.
They put him over Triple H and The Undertaker on a double SmackDown taping in the UK, back to back. It was in that run up. It was in that run up to that No Mercy where he hit Triple H with the swanton and then pinned him with his back so Triple H could crucifix him.
Yeah, could crucifix him. Yeah.
I'm the game. I win in the end. But like, now I'm like, you know, I think we're probably all the same, all three of us. Like, especially with like big Fed stars, the biggest thing is connection. And you absolutely cannot deny that the connection with Jeff was always 100% real. Like
organic.
People will like. It was a perfect opponent for Brock here because you take any audience in any arena and they'll live and die with Jeff Hardy, and the man was about to die here, so it was the perfect guy to get the heat like this. Like great match. Don't get us great performances by both of them, but like strong booking as well. Like absolutely spot on matchmaking this.
The thing, I would say, the thing is with this, with Jeff Hardy getting offense in, you think, yeah, he should do because he's still like a star at this point. I was just looking up then, a couple of months after this was that ladder match versus Undertaker. Undertaker did the all respect thing. So he's still in a prominent position. I know they think, oh, he's on his way down if he's being fed to Lesnar.
No, but this perfect because that's like Michael said, you can afford it in a way. Of course, you can with Jeff Hardy.
He doesn't lose anything, does he?
He doesn't lose nothing at all. And the way he goes out by stoppage as well, it's not as if like he's getting destroyed. Don't get me wrong, but it's that sympathy of like, whoa, wait there a minute, he's actually been fucking laid out here. And it's even, I know what I love though. I loved Lesnar's backbreakers when he used to do the free. And Jeff Hardy, he's like a rag doll, isn't he? He literally must weigh like 2 pounds in his arms. It's unbelievable. And the way he always lifted them above your head, and the visual of him, he was an absolute freak, Lesnar.
Do you know what it made me think of this? It's like, you know, when they'd have those Coliseum video matches where, say, for example, like the Powers of Pain and the Rockers. So you've got, say, Shawn Michaels versus the Warlord. And it's like, it's from Madison Square Garden or the Boston Gardens or something. And you've got Shawn like taking the best backdrop just to try and get some, like Warlord, but he's just trying to get something a bit flashier out of him. This is that, but a genuine like futuristic version because Brock can go. Brock can give just as much. It's not just Jeff doing the high bumps. It's actually Brock like looking just as big as a Warlord or a Barbarian, but offering all of this extra stuff alongside it. And the fact like he was holding back a shooting star press, and we all know how that turned out, but you know, we've all seen him do it. It was in the chamber. So like, it's a bit like when you hear about Paul White's moonsault. What else did Brock have in his locker that they ended up never letting him take out? It makes you wonder because what a freak he was, you know, what a one-off.
So after that match, we move on to match number 5, and probably the best match of the show.
I've been waiting for this, lads.
Which is Kurt Angle versus Edge. Now, Edge is fresh off winning a shampoo contract at Mania 18. And he also has the Rob Zombie theme, which, you know what, I've not stopped listening to that theme over the last couple of weeks. What a fucking tune. What did we think of this matchup, Matty? I know you've just recently watched the Judgment Day one. Yeah.
And that's where I always had this one in my head as better, and I'm so glad it's still held up. This was one of them matches, like, you know me, lads, I'm not a match guy at all, really. Been trying to be converted into one. But this was always one that stuck out for me, even when I was just watching for the stories. Everything, this honestly stuck with me for years. and I made up it still holds up for me. Like I just love Kurt. I just don't get why people like try and put him down in ways. Like he's brilliant. I love him. He's brilliant. Like, but he is just that wrestling machine, isn't he? And just the last like few falls in near falls in this match, lads. Just I know Edge busts out all his executions, his edge-o-matics, his edge of whatever you want to call it. Like, that half Nelson one, even I can't stick up for him with that one. The shit doesn't make sense, does it? The others are good. That does not make sense. He just sat out for everything.
Edge is obsessed. Babyface Edge is obsessed with moves that like pancake the opponent. But like unless you're Kurt Angle and you can do that like cell where you bounce your body, like everyone just looks shit, like getting pushed into the floor flat, don't they? Like it's such an unnatural way for the wrestlers to fall. And Edge would just love their moves.
Oh, he used to absolutely love them, but the chair, even like near the end, where you always still get that like comedic aspect with Kate with the chair into the ropes and then bounces back in his face into the edge of massive. What a near fall, though! Unbelievable stuff. But even the end of Spear, where he kicks him in the face and then we get an angle slam. But even like the best bit in the match, and I wish Gareth was here because he'd fucking love this, was when just that little, it was only about a 10-second little spot where Edge hooks Kate for the execution. He just twists out into a forearm. But then Edge spins him around again to the edge of Matic, but then Kurt twists again, and it was just that proper stiff forearm to the kidneys before he hits the angle slam. It just looked so effortless. It was perfect, honestly. Like, it stood out to me. I absolutely fucking loved that. Like, but I've just wrote there, that's why I love this business, I wrote down when I was watching this. That's what I wrote. But genuinely, like, honest lads, I've always loved this, like I keep saying, and it held up for me. I was absolutely having a great time watching this one. Loved it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm trying to think, right? To answer Matty's question there about like why there is this strange thing where Kurt Angle, for whatever reason, doesn't. So I reckon, and I think this match is a good example of what the issue might be or what like the disconnect is. You know how like it's sort of Will Ospreay, who I'm increasingly coming around to as an all-rounder, but like I think a fair criticism of Will Ospreay is sometimes his matches are like a kind of a tick list of all the stuff that means that it's going to get classed as a good match. So there are certain things you do at certain times that ensure that it's going to be a good match. And then there are certain bits where there's got to be a spot where the two wrestlers come eye to eye and have a forearm battle. And then there's got to be like escalated neck violence or whatever, like the things that, you know, someone like a Dave Meltzer would rate very highly, or the ball knowers that like want to just talk about like a certain style of wrestling, just being that like it's engineered almost to be that kind Definitely. Of we've used Man City pet ball as the kind of football comparison, right?
It is, yeah, it is.
I think Kurt Angle wrestles opposite matches to that. I think because he gets so excited with it, especially the end portions being as exciting as they are, I think that has the opposite effect. I think the quest for just total exhilaration and just total frenzy. I mean, in this, there is about like six, probably more. There is 6 white hot 2.99s in this match, like loads of them. And I think to like a certain section of the kind of the people that like are tuned into wrestling, that's too indulgent, that's too over the top, and you're giving away the fiction of it, because at this point you're doing it because you're addicted to the high of the pop of the crowd. You've stopped thinking about winning. But I don't think Kurt's looked at it like that. I just think that's how he's wired. I think he becomes this guy that is just addicted to being so much better than everybody else. It's like, no, this isn't the finish. And the other wrestlers thinking, are you fucking joking? He's like, no, we've got 3 more false finishes before we get there, mate. And you can see he's got this gas tank that could run and run and run. Yeah. And like obviously the wrestlers that can hang with him are the ones that you can probably trust with your bigger spots. And he becomes this. He's always more of a gatekeeper, Kurt, than he is a top guy, isn't he? If we're being real about it. And I think that's that perception that he inadvertently created. The TNA run, even more so. He's on some psycho shit in TNA, and I just think like nobody would think, we've taken it to that level. Now we need to go 5 levels higher. But Kurt would do that on a TV match if he thought it was the right story to tell. And I just think he's punished for giving so much of himself, and it's not fair, because every near fall in this, he's got people on strings. Yeah. And like the last one, I'm up out my chair, punch in the air, when he boots Edge from that spear, and Edge takes that brilliant light switch back bump because you know the Angle's got him now. He's tried and he's tried and he's tried. And he's finally got him, and he's going to drill him with the Angle Slam. So I'm no less invested, but I'm up and roaring like Sunderland have scored a late winner. Like when Kurt Angle's smashed him in the face, because it's like that's what's going to stop him. Kurt Angle is underrated, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy to say. It is. Some people,
wild.
You say that, Michael, and go, what are you on about? He's the biggest. I think it's turned into this big debate that you're on either side, like, genuinely. And I'm like, it's Kurt fucking Angle we're talking about. And even Benno kind of agrees with what you said there, Michael, in a way, doesn't he? He thinks like people think Kurt is like technical master when he's just a big near falls guy and a big build up guy, which he is. Look at this, like you just said then, a match like this. But this is why this match always stood out for me, because you weren't getting these. Even I know Hogan's in your main events, and you've got Undertaker in a match later on. You weren't getting this, like, even in your mid cards as such. And Kurt just like, he's always, especially in 2002. I remember tweeting him one time as well. And said to you, I love you, Kurt. And I just think 2002 is your best year. He fucking loved it. He absolutely fucking years ago, early dawn of Twitter, like. But he's a machine, and I'll never ever have heard a bad word said about him.
I will say what Matty said about the near fall where Kurt, bangs himself with the chair. And Edge gets like the 1-2, and the crowd just fucking out their seats, weren't they, for that one?
But there's even there's even like the run up. Like, I love that, it's coming all the time, but it's never not as impressive. The run up over belly to belly. But then we can't not mention when Edge gives Kurt the German and he lands right on his fucking shoulder and neck. Fucking God. I should be laughing, but fucking hell, because he actually learned, didn't he? Especially against Benoit later on, when they just exchanged the Germans, he'd take the bump to his face. So he must have thought, well, he obviously in his head here, he thought, to be safer, I might as well just land on my fucking face. Jesus Christ.
It's the Doug Williams power hoist bump, isn't it? Yeah. Where like they would do like that sort of, because it just differentiates it from a standard German. And Kurt's obviously watched a tape and been like, right, let's have a go at that then. The man's a freak. Again, him and Lesnar. So, dirty little secret, I don't think they had anywhere near the chemistry that a lot of people did. I liked Kurt and Brock without ever loving it. But everyone must have been watching these two and like drooling at the day that they were going to wrestle each other. And I think there was a SummerSlam match with Kurt as the straight up babyface and Brock as the heel. And beyond that, I never thought the other matches lived up to what they were going to be in your head.
I think, though, Michael, and we're all put off as we get older, we're all put off by the 60-minute runtime. But I think the Iron Man match, if we all actually sat down and watched it now and got that runtime out of our heads, we'd all agree that was the best one. I think I remember that being fucking really good at the time. But the SummerSlam match, I'm with you. Just seeing the two roles reversed when Lesnar's the heel and Kurt gets the clean win, doesn't he? He makes that tap out, doesn't he? It's wild. Yeah. It's wild, but it's and with you though, they're not remembered, are they, as they should be, considering who's in there. But I have to watch that Iron Man match back, to be fair.
Yeah. So easily best match of the show.
Can I say as well, Andy? Sorry, I've got the ratings down. Dave give this 4.25, but he must have loved the hair versus hair because he gave it 4.5. The hair versus hair the month after. I know. Cage match. This match is coming in at 8.09, isn't it? Yeah. So it is. Once again, I don't do it often, but I feel like I do. So at the same time, if you haven't watched this match in a while, go and watch this one. It's
about 15, 16 minutes of your life as well. I also noted as well that this is also on the first Best of Edge DVD, which is a cracking collection.
Is that the Decade of Decadence?
That's the one, yeah.
I know what I love about that because he's in character, obviously, in between. He's watching it, and every time he wins and it comes back, he's proper cheddar. He's laughing his head off. I love that in character. I fucking love that. He's fucking made up.
He's doing it's funny, isn't it? Because he's doing his own bits, but then like obviously there's been matches that have been picked because there's like rarities, like there's the Mr. Perfect match, isn't there? But he has to present it in character, like, I want you to watch this one because he thought he was perfect, but I was obviously better. Anyway, he's having to sort of like just turn it up.
Love it.
So next up, you have Chris Jericho coming out, but not even on the card, having a moan. But we'll bypass him and go to match number 6.
We're not bypassing his hair colour, are we? Or his gear he's got on, Andy. We can't pass that. And he looked like, if anyone had been on the chicken breasts and the broccoli, it's Chris Jericho at this point.
Yes.
Like a small house.
He had those Scott Steiner abs, didn't he, around the front, like there.
What's with like I'm colourblind, lads, but I knew it was red hair. But what type of like crimson are we going with, or scarlet? What type of red are we going for in his hair?
It certainly wasn't main event red, was it? I know that much. It wasn't.
It's not get on the cards red, Michael.
It was. There was a rare good line from Jerry Lawler that popped me here when they were booing Jericho. He goes, "That's why they call this the heartland of America. There's no brain here."
It's a good one, that.
So match number 6 now is RVD versus Eddie Guerrero for the Intercontinental Championship. This was like one of them PWI matches that you would see made up, Frog Splash versus Frog Splash. Guerrero returned to WWE 1 month ago after his stint in ROH and also Tommy Boyd's Revival show.
Was you there for that one, and was you at that one?
I wasn't at that one. I've reviewed it. Nothing can like it.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll actually listen. That was the one where you could listen to it on Talk Sport.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yeah. Remember that.
Yeah.
So Matty, what do we think of this matchup?
You know what? I'm gonna similar to what Michael said about Kate and Brock. Though, you think these are that brilliant matches, and obviously, like, it's not bad, is it? Or it's not shit, or it's not like. But I just thought they could have done a bit better. Like it's watchable and it's decent. It's similar to Judgment Day, the month after. I think they opened that show. That it takes until they get the ladder in there, where I think that's their best one. The ladder match they have as the blow off in maybe June, I think that is. But,
that was on a
Raw, yeah. Main event of a Raw, like in Canada. I think one of the fans jump in the ring, don't they, and try and push Eddie off the ladder.
Yeah.
As I said, just not bad, but just disappointed. Maybe that's the word for this one. There's some good stuff in there, like the surfboard into the chin lock is brilliant. Van Damme, obviously flexible as he is, and the sunset bomb's amazing. You can tell that he's made up because he just goes right over, doesn't he? And he's proper stacking the shoulders on that. At the finish, we got the neck breaker on the belt and then the frog splash. But yeah, I can't lie, just expected a lot more out of them. Just a tad disappointed, lads, to be honest. But far from bad, you know.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's weird. I remember the context of this, and like Guerrero had obviously had this run, which was a bit of a like proving that he was on good behavior run, wasn't it? After he got fired in 2001, so he had to go and just like earn his stripes back by working Ring of Honor and working the Indies and things like that. But oddly, I think when he came back, I think he thought he had to bring that with him, and as we would come to see. The reality was what was going to get him over rather than just work rate over was the fact that he had so much more charisma bottled up in there that like a lot of his contemporaries didn't. But this was him trying to be like, I know that like it technically didn't exist yet, but like Ring of Honor Eddie on WWE TV. Like I did like if you view that as just a clever working heel dissecting a guy with less experience, that's the entire second half of this match, isn't it? Like he cheats at the end, but there's no real proper comeback from RVD. It's just it's Eddie Guerrero takes charge and keeps charge and wins the belt because he's got more experience and he's a bit tougher and he's a bit meaner and a bit nastier. And it's decent to watch. But in terms of your intra-match stories, it wasn't until Los Guerreros that Eddie, I mean, he did it as Latino Heat, so we knew it was in there, but I think he thought he had to get serious. And the reality was, no, actually, like unlock the comedy again. And that's the route that you need to be taking. And once he did that, I think that was when he put it all back together in WWE, I think.
Yeah, because even when he come in, once again, 15 at the time and not really like understanding like his running, you know what I mean? Like not understanding the greatness really of the work rate at the time of such an Eddie Guerrero. When he come back, I was like, he hasn't earned this. You know what I mean? Coming in just beating RVD. As a fan, I didn't buy it in a way. It was weird because I remember this took me back to that time. But obviously, love Eddie now and fucking would go to bat for him against anyone. I love him. Like, he's one of my underrated favourites of anything. I don't go on about. So fucking, as you say, as an all-rounder, he fucking nailed it towards the end, didn't he? Like an 03, 04. He was fucking brilliant. But it's just something about when he come back until, obviously, like you said there, that run there. But yeah, just disappointed with this one.
Yeah, I'm a similar thoughts as well. As what Michael said about Eddie sort of taking over the match. I think it was just too much Eddie Guerrero just controlling it, and RVD's quite a big star still at that. Well, pretty hot star.
Yeah, up a mid-card throughout his whole, and that's not a knock on him. Like, so some people he was up a mid-card, should have been. Well, we've covered Michael, haven't we, on the 2000? He should have been right in the main event. And he'd always flirt with it, and he'd always get chances. Like, I always think as well, like you say, we feels like we've been talking about people that should have more chemistry on this episode, but people that did, and you wouldn't think the complete opposite, like Undertaker and Van Damme, Michael, like they always had good matches. The Avengers one, but then there's a couple of them Raw ones, like in 2002, they're fucking brilliant, like, and you just wouldn't put them two together, would you? But it worked a lot. It did.
That's you kind of both reminded me of something about Van Damme on this show as well. And again, it goes back to the APA point and the sense of things are changing in WWE. I think, like, whether or not this is true or not, during like the height of the Attitude Era, and I think like the year 2000 is the best example of this, there was a real sense within WWE that if you were over and you were getting over, you would be given the opportunities to get more over. Chris Kresge's storylines, like January to September 2000. Can't remember anything else that happened in September 2000 that might have changed the direction of some of the stories. But like, certainly that run where he was the storyboarding creative guy. We talk about the APA, Too Cool, Edge and Christian, Kurt Angle, like Lita, Trish, TNA, like Axe, Crash Holly. Everywhere you look, acts are getting over, and it's almost like if you get a cheer, you're gonna, like, you might not be The Rock, you might not be Triple H, but we'll reward you in kind. And Rob Van Dam should have been rewarded in 2001. Very clearly, like, visibly lost a lot of political battles, and it changes how he works. It changes how the fans respond to him. It's almost like everybody collectively agrees. What's the point in getting behind him then? You can feel like the ceiling getting lower on him, as opposed to the fucking dickheads we're about to talk about, and the other dickheads in the main event, and the dickheads they push for the next 2 years. And like, it's awful, because that's why we talk about the reign of terror, because you're watching years of a lowered ceiling. Imagine if in 2004 and early 2005 they'd done this to Batista and John Cena, what they did to Rob Van Dam, and what they did to so many others at this time. Like, it changes what a match like this is like, because you're just like, oh, right, well, I don't need to put all my eggs in the Van Damme basket anymore, because it's obviously never going to happen for him. And it's sad. You don't want to watch that and feel that way about the wrestlers that you like. It's, here we are in 2025. Regardless of how it turns out, that's why you put the belt on Jey Uso. That's why you do it, because you've got to reward audiences. You can't just put the thumb on them. Otherwise it changes it,
He got there in the end, Michael, 4 years later, didn't he, Van Damme, when it really didn't mean anything? Like, it genuinely, like, it's like, oh, well, we've got to give you it now type thing. We should have been when he was at his hottest, of course.
Match number 7 now is the number 1 contenders match with I
love the way we both just smiled there as well. All three of us, actually.
with the guest referee Ric Flair. It's Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. So in the build-up to this, Undertaker beat RVD. Steve Austin pinned Scott Hall for the right to this match. You have Undertaker coming out to Rolling, and we're getting into the old Bugger Red era of
Big Evil.
Big Evil, yeah.
You're gonna pay his tune now, Andy. Come on, please. That's one of the best ones. Even that instrumental beforehand, I mean, he started knocking about, after Judgment Day. I liked it as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Steve's not out to Disturbed this time on the Netflix version.
I can't do it, lads. It's coming, and I can't do it, Michael. You're gonna have to speak for me. You're gonna have to in a minute. Oh, go on, Anne. Sorry.
Just a couple more things before we get into your thoughts on this match. Steve is only 2 months away from fucking off and taking his ball, and early doors in this match we have collar and elbow city. 27 minutes. Here we go. Matty, we'll start with you.
I mean, right. Always always been the worst match that these ever had. Like, and you can go say whatever you want about these two, but they had so many matches. Honestly, even that Buried Alive match is better than this. Like this, it's the runtime. Why does it need to go 27 minutes? Why are they wrestling? Like, why are they actually wrestling though? Like, why? Just have a brawl. Like, always never liked this match. But like I wrote down as well, 7 more matches Steve has in his entire career before like he actually has to retire. So this is 8th to last match, and then he has 1 more, obviously against Kevin Owens. So I knew it would be like within the 10, but like that it's on when it's like, not that you can see, but like it's just because of what you know and what we know. He's checked out. He has, Michael. You've said it before that like even maybe late 2001, maybe. And I was like, no. But this is the first time I've genuinely noticed it. Like even his retirement match against Rock, it's different circumstances, isn't it? Like with the whole night before in the hospital, he knows it's his last match, so he's not as zoned out per se. But this mate is like, he just doesn't care, does he? You can just tell. And I'm not saying the performance, not that it's sloppy. It's just boring, isn't it? It's so boring, this match. The finish is awful. Just not the best nights at the office here for sure. Like, so can't go right, can't put the boot right in because I never will, but with Steve, but just the whole package here is there. It's not good at all.
Oh well, and I'll go on 2-footed. This is absolutely this is piss poor end to end from the moment that Red Shoes the referee comes out. Like an absolute
bad.
This is a shit show end to end, and I hate all of it. And I was watching this and I was getting angry. Like, so I was 17 when this aired, right? Very much at the point where I was able to get into those clubs where you weren't getting ID'd and enjoying college. And not that like I was ever like, you know, your hobbies change. Like the Fed is the only one for me that is never going to change. It's always going to be there. But like, don't actively try and push me away. Because on a Friday night, I'm going out now and I'm not watching Raw until the Saturday. Don't give me a reason not to watch Raw. And that's what it felt like this version of WWE was doing. Like Austin, like this wasn't boo-boo face. This was boo-boo match. Like he wrestles the entire thing with, he's not got job face. He's got job body. Like every punch he's throwing, he's half-arsed. It's a sulk of a match, right? And like every punch he's throwing and every kick he's throwing is done with a sulk. And it's pretty much all punches and kicks. So it's just Sulk City the entire way. Like when they do wrestle, as Matty points out, they try and wrestle. It's blatantly something they're doing for ego because they've just seen Eddie go out and do some move stuff with Van Damme. They've seen Kurt Angle and Edge like tear it up. And they know they can't follow them. So they're doing that. Fucking Undertaker, slow it down, kid. And Austin's like, I love that, brother. Like, Dominoes and beers after the match, me and you, we'll show them. Like, and I mean, like, we're jumping ahead, right? But blatantly, the tag title match next is Rush because they've obviously lost about 5 minutes there, haven't they? So you sense that they've ran over and they're supposed to be the pros. They're supposed to be the locker room leaders, the veterans, and they've just taken the piss with their runtime. They're so up their own arse politically that blatantly Ric Flair's been told, count like you're a 100-year-old with arthritis because we need to make you look like such a shit referee that you can be so thick to make a decision because God forbid Steve Austin does a fucking job, right? So like...
now, I'm listening, Michael.
So that like Ric Flair, like the special guest referee is a fundamentally stupid idea because it's a bit like if in the Premier League, the referee's late for work, they just let one of the players from the other team ref. Like that would be the dumbest solution. But in wrestling, for some reason, it's the smartest call, right? So already you're off to a loser. But Ric Flair takes the job on because he's like, right, nobody else, everyone's getting beat up when they're near you. I'll get in the middle of this. But then both the wrestlers are like, well, Austin's like, oh, I'm Steve Austin. I've got to look tough and smart and hard and class. And the Undertaker's like, well, I'm the dead man. So between them, it's like, well, I guess Ric Flair's got to look thick as fuck then. So he's the one that's doing these like sort of 2 hours to get to 2 on the 2 count. So that the whole way through, the commentator's like, well, Ric Flair's shit, but at least he's shit for both of them. Then frigging Razor and X-Pac come out.
What was the point of them? Yeah.
watching, like if there's a guard in the aisle or something, because this match is so amazing that God forbid anybody else come out and get near it and try and get over, and nothing happens. They just leave. X-Pac works the entire thing with the cane mask on, right? So when it does cut away from this boring thing, you're just laughing at the state of the NWO. Then you get the finish. Oh, sorry, Andy, I'm stepping on your dick here, but
it's fine, mate.
It's been winding me up since I watched it. They do a crowd brawl, and it feels like this like sad tribute to the 1998 when Austin was like at his hottest and stuff. Undertaker, what a frustrating year 2002 is for the Undertaker, right? When he lowers himself down the card and works with the workers, it's fucking dynamite. When he insists on being main event take, it's dog shit. Like there's no in between. Watch him against Kurt Angle, watch him against Rob Van Dam, against Jeff Hardy. When he actually takes a few risks, it's class. Then watch him here, watch him against Triple H. It is diabolical.
Hogan as well.
Hogan at Judgment Day.
Oh, that's one of the worst ever.
Like there's just no in between. Like it's if he's taking Flair at WrestleMania, when he's taking a few risks, it's a load of fun. And then when he's just dropping into thinking, right, time to be the main event around here, it's awful. Like I was transported to being angry on the internet in 17 and feeling like these two needed to be ashamed of themselves. Like they were being lapped by Edge and Angle and others here. They were just lucky that what they were following them stood no chance of being any good either. Like it's a bag of shit, this man. And like they never had, Matty's right, they never had good chemistry ever. Like their best match is probably one that Austin works with a concussion at SummerSlam. Like
I do like the First Blood. That's my favourite. Fully Blooded 99. Yeah. That's a good brawl. That is.
But it's like a low bar, isn't it? It's a low bar between them. Like then, like I think I'd probably, all things being equal, I'd probably go with the Raw one because it's just so hot. Like the title change.
Oh, 99. Yeah.
It's just really hot. So I like the crowd in that, but chemistry wise, it's like the two of them are working with cement around their legs or something. I hated this match. Hated it.
Well, then again, the SummerSlam 98 match is just remembered for the promo package, isn't it?
As well, yeah.
All timer, one of the best ever.
Yeah. This match for me went downhill once Taker did a figure four, a chin lock, and a neck vice. It's Taker coming out, weren't it? Early doors.
It's dreadful. Actually, there's no need for it to be 27, 28. There's
27 minutes.
There's no need at all.
I
know they had that 2 minutes where they did a pitiful attempt at a brawl, but this should have been a 20-minute brawl around the arena.
Just do it, cover up. Yeah, just do what you can. And even as Michael said, it's still in tribute to them, but it wouldn't be as boring as what we got delivered here. Honestly, it's, as I say, it pains me, but this has always been one that I've never thought I'd be doing a podcast about it where they had to put the boot in, but it was never good. It was never ever good, this one. Ever.
But this is Steve trying to be Steve in early 1990s WCW, isn't it?
No, but you know what did it? And once again, it's doing these and it's listening to yourself, Andy, Michael in particular. Sorry to big you up, Michael, like you always do. But it is, no, genuinely, it is that thing of as much as I love a wrestler or love someone, this was the time when he's coming out to, once again, we've had the Disturbed. You're going backwards to try and get that 19, and it's never going to work. That's why he, for bad or what people say, he turned into that comedy heel character. People can easily say for business-wise it didn't work, but at least he was different, and at least he was fresh, and he was doing something new and different that you haven't seen. You're going way back in time doing all this. It is sad. It's sad.
What's over, innit? Still during this match.
What's over?
Oh, still over now, Andy.
Still over now, yeah. Well, just
honestly,
he just looked washed for me.
Yeah, he did. When we're doing the pods at work, I think I'm the same as both of you. From listening to enough of what you two talk about, I think we're all the same. I have this thing. We're recording, and Matty's wearing the Blood from a Stone Austin 316 shirt, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like the heart eyes emoji every time I see it again. Right, you have loyalty. If a wrestler has made you feel the best you can feel in your whole life once, it's like getting a tattoo. It's on your skin. I'll ride or die with Bayley till the end because of how good Bayley and Sasha was. And she has years where nothing goes right. And like Austin is that for everybody, right? Because who didn't fall in love with Steve Austin at some point in their life as a fan? He took you to the pinnacle, the top. And I just remember like actively resenting so much of his work. The point about him flipping back babyface and the backward step, what was weird as well was that it wasn't just he's got the old music and he's just having to rely on the old stuff again when he's been a heel and it doesn't feel as convincing, is they tried to keep elements of the heel Austin character that just made him a bit of an arsehole. So like in the build-up, the build's really stupid, by the way. They're both made #1 contender and then Vince gives it to Hogan anyway because they were still ironing out the brand split. So like it's a dumb build. But like there's like Austin comes out, like Undertaker's made the #1 contender, whatever it is. And Austin comes out and is like, Ric Flair, I don't like that decision, change it. So he's a whinging babyface arse kicker. Like what is it?
Steve Austin we're talking about,
Yeah.
As a face,
he wasn't wrong about the bad creative, but the sad reality is, how do you phase down Steve Austin? That question was never answered because he left. But how do you, like, a very, very difficult character to phase into the mid card?
And in a way,
I get him a little bit in that regard.
Yeah,
but
and in a way,
what do you do if you're WWE?
Sorry, Michael, but in a way, before I lose my train of thought, it's like comparing. I know it's totally different, but like say a Nirvana, and I know Kurt died, and it was like obviously sad and stuff, but it's like we got the good stuff. As you say there, I'm glad in a way that he did go because you didn't see him having to lower himself in a way, even though like before he did leave, he requested to work with Eddie and Benoit, didn't he? To try and get, because he was scheduled for Eddie at King of the Ring, weren't he? Yeah. Remember they done that like literally 20-minute long fucking karaoke movie.
Karaoke night,
and all that. Like, so he was trying, but then in a way, after that, and he'd work with him, he wanted to work, it would have been either sad to see him go back up again where he was, like you guys said, finished, or like phased out completely, even further down. It's weird, isn't it? So in a way, I'm glad he took us more, because at least with the retirement match, you got him putting a shift in. You knew he was in there with Rock, and it is emotional, like that. Genuinely, when I watched it with the lads on GRAPPL there, like I was choked up after it, seeing him walk out and stuff. It is really sad, like, so at least we got that. But
he's hiding. He's hiding that the neck's bad again here as well, isn't he? Like he would later reveal that his neck was in worse shape than he was letting on.
2 knees, so he's broken, isn't
he? He always talks about, I was running pretty hard. I had a lot of caffeine going through the system. And it's all code, isn't it? That he was at some point it was going to hit the wall one way or the other. It's funny when you put it like that. I never really thought about like the last 10 matches. It's mad to think about being in like Austin's final 10. Yeah. Like, because it's not many, is it? But you don't think about it like that, and then it's just gone.
It's one of them though, Michael. If you haven't watched it for years, like, please watch it this week, because I need to go and rewatch it. It's just him on Bite This. How good is it? When he's fucking fuming stuff like that. Brilliant, isn't it? Though I love editing like that. He's fucking livid.
So, Undertaker wins the match. Flair misses the foot on the rope. Counts a free, take a new #1 contender. After the match, after Austin gets his heat back, backstage, you have Jonathan Colchman meeting up with Mark Clattenburg to the VAR decision. Flair notices his mistake, and we move on.
I mean, just to prolong the obvious storyline, isn't it? But even that's a rehash, isn't it, Michael? Like, going back in time, Austin, Vince, but it's Austin and Flair, because Flair turns heel, doesn't he? And he's the evil owner, and it's going back in time, mate. Yeah, it's sad.
We're about 3 weeks from Steve Austin pissing curry sauce onto Arn Anderson.
I didn't mind that angle, to be fair, though, Michael. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. I love that, to be fair.
Match number 8 now. Your semi-main event, or piss break match. Which is Billy and Chuck with Rico versus Al Snow and Maven. You look so good to me.
Cracking fiend.
Yeah, brilliant.
Any thoughts on this one, Matty?
Like you said there, like, wasn't like the greatest match, wasn't the worst. It was just there, wasn't it? But considering Maven wasn't, I don't mind Maven. He's one of them wrestlers that, like, he never offended me, even when, like, at the time, always liked him. And then he had a big injury after this, though, didn't he? Was it his fibula or he snapped it, and he was out for like a year or so, wasn't he? So for him to come back after that, after literally just starting up, and yeah, he was always all right. Maybe even thought that little tag team might have carried on the teaching. The people would obviously got the feud out of it. A bit Mr. Wrestling 2 with Magnum TA, but you know, we'll always go to that. It's an easy story to do, isn't it? And that, you know, honestly, watching it made me think, oh, I would have liked to have seen that in a weird way. So, but yeah, Billy and Chuck, you know, always a decent team for me. Always like Chuck, but even in WCW, you know me, guys, I'm a dying days WCW guy, and Chuck always I loved his digs and even the stomps in this. They're not your typical wrestling stomps. He's proper bang, bang, bang. I like that aspect to it, and laid them in like so. Yeah, and you know, you got the cheating from the heels at the end with Rico coming in and Chuck behind the rest back. So yeah, didn't mind it, to be honest. Decent little tag match.
It was just I'm with you on Maven, especially. There was something magnetic about Maven. I think it was nice seeing his journey on Tough Enough, but he had way more of the natural attributes than a lot of those trainees do. Like he had a lot of the intangibles down, Maven, and it's a shame kind of how it turned out for him. Like I was gutted that Netflix edited his music off because that gets as big a pop as Steve Austin's music. That's like an all-timer, the Maven theme. So it was a bit sad having the diluted version. The match, like, it was only ever going to be a basic tag match, but you couldn't help feeling like they'd lost about 5 minutes, couldn't you? Like, and
definitely.
It's got to be like they're not taking time off Triple H and Hogan if like Austin and Undertaker have ran over, aren't they? So these get this just like sliced to bits, don't they?
Yeah, pretty basic match, to be honest. Bit of shenanigans at the end with Billy and Chuck winning was what it was.
Yeah.
And had a purpose to get people down for another 27-minute fucking bore fest. Match number 9 in your main event, it's Triple H versus Triple H versus Hogan. Hogan back in the red and yellow here. Brilliant pop. Triple H, who just won the title at WrestleMania 18 against Chris Jericho, which Matty and myself reviewed last time. What did we think of this one? It started off again like the Undertaker and Steve match with a collar and elbow tie-up for about 5 minutes.
Do you want to go first in this one, Michael?
Right. So I think Triple H absolutely stinks here. What made me really sad was that it was in the Royal Rumble when I realised that he was a body and not a worker anymore. Like, that was the moment where he's all about the posing and the growling and that's what he thinks it is to be a big baby face. He's 50 pounds heavier up top than he was when he went off because he's probably worried about his legs. So gone are the days of like the actual best in the world Triple H. You could see how quickly that you weren't getting that Triple H anymore. He was a step slower. Took him a while to get back into that snap bumping that he used to do. Never really rated him as a baby face at this time anyway. No. So I thought he was garbage in this match. Like everything he's doing is just like, I don't know what he is. Is he like a barbarian? Is he a cerebral Bret Hart type wrestler? Like, is he a showing aspect? I cannot work out what he's trying to do here, Triple H. I will say, like I said it then, I'll say it now, and I've said it on Benno and Hamflett in Your House about Diesel. Even knowing how wrong it goes and how quickly it goes wrong, I'd have booked this. I remember this. I'd have put Hogan on top as well. I'd have given him the belt. You don't know how long Hogan's got. Like, you don't know if maybe he's hiding his own injuries or politically he's going to fall out with you again any minute now. We weren't to know that he was going to go on and put Kurt Angle over and put The Undertaker over and put Brock Lesnar over. Like, I'd have put the belt on Hogan as well. Strike, like, we're not talking just a red hot iron. It's a red and yellow hot iron. Give it a go. Give it a go. And like it died on its ass really quickly. The ratings tanked. The buildings weren't sort of suddenly spiking for Hogan having the title. So it was okay to acknowledge that it was a failure and a pretty quick one. But I'd have booked this. The match was crap. It was. They didn't have much chemistry. The characters didn't mesh well off each other. The commentators kept having to say, because you couldn't call Hogan old, so you had to go like the young lion and the older lion, but they're both lions, yeah. Like make it like there's that really great shot of Hogan in the background of Triple H with the tatch sticking out under the light, and it made Hogan look like he's still the old lion is still in the shadows. That wasn't bad, but the chemistry in ring just didn't work. I wonder what this would have looked like if Triple H was a straight up heel, like Triple H from a year and a half earlier when he was like having 3 3/4 TV matches with Taka Michinoku in the Brooklyn Brawler, and when he was getting Rikishi all the way over, and he was going an hour with The Rock, like indestructible.
Well for him, wouldn't he? It would have been better than this.
He would have bumped for him. He would have shown arse all the way through. He would have known when to feed Hogan's comeback at the exact right time. Like he would have been allowed to have been the cerebral assassin that he loves to be and be the best. But when the comeback happened, people would go ape shit for it. Here, they just loved Hogan. I'd have booked this the exact same way, but you could have ran this match 100 times and it wouldn't have been good. Like it's just one of them ones that they never would have found a good match in this. But I can't fault the booking. You go with Hogan.
I think to add to that, maybe it's a soft spot for this I think Hogan is better than Triple H in this match, and I think he's all right in 2002, considering his age and considering he can't move about and such. Like, did we all get on that diamond cutter by Terrence? Come on, I mean,
the little run that he does.
And even I know what I loved as well, and it was a little stupid thing. I don't think I've seen a better schoolboy in my life. How good's it though? Like he proper gets it, and proper is on his arm like it should be, and spinning around with it to actually try and pin him instead of just doing it as like, oh, I've got to do a schoolboy. He's actually trying to pin him off it. Just little stuff like that I noticed with him, Hogan, and yeah, it wasn't, it's just another boring match, for me. And them little 2 cameos aside from Terry, like the end was it was what it was. We got Jericho and Taker coming out and a few chair shots, and then I always say it, like, you want a Triple H, like, just met his match politically, though. Like, the month after winning the title, would you ever think Triple H would ever lose a world title? But no, to Hogan, it happened. Like, he got out politicked, he come up against the master in that regard. So, yeah, but I do, for the novelty value, though, as well, of seeing Triple H versus Hulk Hogan, it's like, I always love matches like that, even if they're shit and boring.
Yeah,
it's like, well, at least they wrestled and it looks good, doesn't it? Like that, like even Rock and Gold bit. There's loads of them that happened around these couple of years that, like, you go, fucking hell, I'm glad that happened at least. So, yeah, they're my thoughts there, Andy.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, apart from that 1 year run in about 2000, 2001, it's very much like Hogan versus Kidman at the star level.
You mean it's like Triple H? You mean, or just
Triple H? He's on the Mount Rushmore. He'd be off the cliff, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always like a Triple H. Like, I don't know. I've just always got that in me that I feel like I can't defend him, of course, for most of the time, but I've always got a little soft spot for him. But then when you watch performances like this, you go, fucking hell, I understand why people fucking don't like him or think he's shit, you know what I mean? But, and he obviously had that great year, but I think there's, but and for his, probably to his ultra fault, even when he is doing something, there's always a reason for it politically, isn't there? Or, and I know he gets that against him as well too much at the same time, where, like, he does beat someone, and I think Gareth's even stuck up for him, funnily enough, where, like, well, yeah, he should have won, but people can just easily throw it at him at the same time when he is beating people. It's like sometimes he should beat people. He's just always going to be one of them guys, isn't he? That's it's
funny we're reviewing him getting beaten at a Backlash because he loved a Backlash job, did Triple H. He went over Brock at WrestleMania, he went over Sheamus at WrestleMania, and then he returns the favour at Backlash and nobody remembers it, and then he just, like, he was banging to that, like, what was I going to say as well? Like, when he was, I didn't mind his, we were talking about Jeff Hardy. I had like a little bit of time for his SmackDown champion run, but look at, like, I love that little SummerSlam match he has with Great Khali. But, like, Great Khali's not a threat, is he? So he can sell and sell and then beat Great Khali, and it's fine,
Michael, it's in it.
Brian Kendrick win the title in the scramble. Yeah, like Kendrick can have the belt for pretend in the scramble, but it's not like he's getting out with it, so it's fine, like he's so clever in when he times his little jobs that you kind of want to forget them. One other thing as well, have you seen the Backlash behind the scenes video on the Vault channel? Where they just show random clips.
Say it, Michael. Please, go on.
When this pay-per-view goes off the air, right, you see Hogan celebrating in the ring and Triple H leaving, presumably to go and get revenge on The Undertaker or whatever. On the Vault for the live crowd, the two of them are posing in the ring to Triple H's music and doing his water.
Hogan must pose, in it, like, but
Hogan must pose.
How insecure though can a fella be? I know what I thought you were going to mention on that, Michael, where it's like Edge, it's Backlash, and then Rob Van Dam, Backlash, and Triple H, Backlash. Have you heard it? Have you seen that film? There's just why is he making that noise? It's fucking awful. Oh, it's hilarious. Like, but what the fuck are you playing at? Jesus Christ.
He's like, and like even now, like I actually don't mind that he goes out there and he just like puts himself over. Like, you're welcome.
I love it.
Like I can't help but laugh. But like he's the ultimate fake it till you make it guy in every aspect of his career, isn't he? Like every single step on the ladder has been fake it till you make it. Like get a bit lucky, be a bit of a bastard. Like there's only the year 2000 is the single point where like he's actually 100% worth the spot he's in. Everything else is always with a but or an if or a maybe or
there's someone else who should be ahead of him, isn't it?
Yeah, every time.
But even that, Michael, like once again, I'll always stick up for him. I like him overall, and obviously he doesn't help himself most of the time. But like Andy said earlier, like he's nowhere near. Like even Undertaker for me, is well better than him. Like they're not even on the same like thing for me. I know that's like choosing if you want to get shot or stabbed to most people, but it's like,
not Matty.
Yeah. But it's like he's not even on them level. Like obviously Shawn Michaels, Brett, he's nowhere near all these in every aspect. Yeah. Like he's the most, as you say, in a manufactured. People say, what like Roman Reigns, you know, seen forced down your throat and then some Triple H, isn't he? You know, so
it always does that thing, doesn't he? When they're doing like Attitude Era retrospectives,
can't stand it.
The Attitude Era, there was Rock, there was Austin, there was me, there was Mick Foley. It was like, you take your fucking name out of that list, you hack. Like this.
They always put it down to like DX invading WCW, turned it round. No chance. It wasn't.
No. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin. The end.
Fucking hell.
So Hulk wins the title. I was thinking with this match, it was just Triple H methodically working over Hulk's knee, which you would do. You target the weak point of Hulk. Seeing he has some knees and not a backbone in him, but it's another one of those matches for me where it should have been a 20-minute brawl outside. It would have been so much better, got the crowd into it. Triple H has done good brawls in the past, obviously. The last 10 minutes of the Cactus Jack match at Royal Rumble 2000, that was after the crowd started chanting boring.
But that's where I can't, and I say stick up for him, I can't though at the same time when you say that, Andy, because it's like Goldberg, like the Unforgiven later on. Why has he got to have a 15-minute wrestling match with Gold? Why? Just to prove that you can try. There's no need for it. But then people might like it as much, but like, because they look at it on face value, but like the Hell in a Cell with Kevin Nash, and like, it's not the greatest, but it's kind of matches you should be having, like brawls and that. Yeah. Even the Judgment Day angle after they have a cracking like big fight on Raw in the build-up to Judgment Day where they fight all over the arena and outside. Stuff like that is great. But no, I've got to get in there and I've got to work at old school wrestling. There's a match Unforgiven 2002, Rob Van Dam. I know it works kind of because he's like trying to ground the high flyer, but it's like 25 minutes of like submissions. It's like, no, he's got that in him.
This year, like I don't know if it's recovery from the quad or the extra body weight or whatever as well, but he's lost all of his speed. So it's not just about going long for the match going long. It's the clock ticking over because it's taking him so much longer to do everything. I think they are I know you two covered it in the WrestleMania match. I don't think that Hell in a Cell with Chris Jericho is much cop either. Like it's that they never topped Fully Loaded. The two, like that was them.
Never ever did.
No,
like, brilliant.
That. Never got near that. Like, and if you watch a lot of his 2002, like I know it's Kane and Kane's mostly shit as well, but like they've gotten like Kane's at his best in 2002, and Triple H slows Kane down. Like 2002 tanned Kane, and like you say Goldberg and Van,
skinny. It's about
Van Dam, like the Shawn Michaels 3 Stages of Hell match is crap and all.
He shouldn't be there. He's injured. He's tore his groin, and he shouldn't be wrestling.
He's still got his recovering from his throat from the Survivor Series as well, but he just loves that long match shite. And then you got Steiner straight after it. This is what you're witnessing is the kind of like the genesis of the Reign of Terror. It's everybody talks about when he gets awarded the belt. It's not. It's when he comes back at that Royal Rumble. It's the moment he's so impressed with his own muscles that he starts doing that stupid pose before the pedigree where he wants you to see his biceps. That is the moment that the Reign of Terror starts, because that's the moment he becomes obsessed with being the big monster Triple H.
And I fucking hated that on the game as well. The taunt when you've done it. You've done it before he give the pedigree. I fucking hated that.
Yeah.
So
shite, he's shite.
There we go. Anyway, with the end of Backlash 2002. Now let's decide whether this was shite or not shite. Matty.
Oh, you know what, Andy? We might have to have a third option, because I'm torn in the middle, because I can't. But obviously, there's more boring that outweighs. With them last two that are meant to be your big matches and your big stars, just boring, weren't they? But then a Kurt and Edge, and then you'd have obviously the opening. I'd have to, begrudgingly, even though that's one of my personal favourite matches, I'm going to have to say overall it was shite. I'm going to have to, just based on them last two matches, Eddie and Van Dam being disappointing, obviously Hall and Bradshaw not up so much. But, you know, Trish and Jazz was good, the opening was good, and Kurt and Edge was good. And Brock actually right there. When you think about it here. This is genuinely the most toughest yet, Andy, this one. But I'm going to have to go with shite, because they're your main events and they're your big stars. I'm going to have to just 51-49 on the vote for shite.
Michael.
Well, in tribute to Matty's favourite booker of all time, Vince Russo, swerve, bro, I don't think this was shite. I went in with such low expectations, because I've had 23 years of never wanting to watch that Austin Undertaker match ever again. But, like, in contrast to that, I thought this was a half-decent show. This is way better watched in 2025 than it was in 2002. I am watching a company going off the rails in 2002. Week by week by week, the show is getting worse and worse and worse. And 23 years later, there's more good on this show than bad. Like, I'll remember how much I enjoyed watching Trish and Jazz and how good Brock was. And kind of, I think when you were talking about the hair versus hair match, I'm guilty of forgetting this one and not giving it credit compared to the other Kurt and Edge matches. Like, and this might quietly be the best of the lot, I think.
Definitely is.
Upon rewatch. So I got like a little bit of a surprise of I was looking forward to recording with you two. I wasn't looking forward to watching the show. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on, I'm supposed to hate this.
Yeah.
And then the Undertaker arrives and I hate this. But before that, like, not a bad time at all.
Well, seeing as you two have split the vote, I'm going to say not shite.
It's tough though, lads. Honestly, it's 2% in it for me, but I just can't look past, because, as you say, one of my favourite matches. But
it's the early portion of the show that gets it just over the line of not being shite. The Kurt Angle Edge match is definitely a match you've just got to go and watch again.
Definitely.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Trish and Jazz. Opener was good. It's just the two main events with the 4 stars. They fuck it all over for everyone.
Yeah, it is. They're grim.
Politicians in it.
Yeah, grim.
Never trust them. So before we go, we have one little game, the age game on this show. So
I haven't even looked any up or not here, so yeah.
So you got 5 each here, and we're going to go to Matty for the first one. Hulk Hogan, how old?
I think JR called it. He's either 47 or 48, isn't he?
48.
Yeah,
you're correct. Okay. Michael, higher or lower? Jerry Lawler.
Oh. Right. As I was saying, I've just turned 40. So I cannot be within 10 years of this rancid old pervert here. So I'll say, with my fingers crossed, I'll say higher.
Correct. It's 52.
Oh, thank God. I'll take that, yeah.
Matty, your next one.
Yes.
Old JR Jim Ross.
Well, actually, wait there. So, so take away 23. He's just younger. 51.
Yeah, you're correct. 50.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Next up for Michael, higher or lower? Rico.
Now then.
That's a good one. That.
He's yeah. It's like when you're reading how Batista was a world champion and a granddad at the same time, isn't it? It's like Rico's got like
as
that.
well.
Yeah. You see him work AEW last month and it was like, please welcome the 78-year-old Rico or something like that. And you're like, wait a minute. Like it's gonna be younger, but it's gonna be daft. It's gonna be like Jim Ross was 50, like Rico here is gonna be like 47 or something like that.
So Rico, you're correct, lower. Rico, 41.
Oh, 41, okay.
41.
Yeah. So he's near enough same age as me.
Oh man.
Matty, next up for you. Al Snow.
Oh, well, as we established on the recent Sabu tribute show that we done, Al Snow debuted in 1982. He was a 12-year veteran in that Sabu match. So, what are we, 41?
Yeah.
I'd say he's just younger. I'd say 39.
Oh, close, 38.
Okay. Same age as me right now. Wish I had that head of hair. That's not at that 38.
Next up for Michael, it's the old business respecter himself, The Undertaker.
Oh God. I mean, he was wrestling like he was 50 years, like.
I know where this is going. I think this is going to be daft.
38. I kind of. It's Undertaker's always so hard to place, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
He's so hard to place. I want to say he was in his like late 20s in the 90s. Where were we on? We were on 38 from Al Snow.
We were, yeah.
I'm gonna go younger. I'm gonna say like as insane for this jumped up walking midlife crisis. I reckon he was probably about 35.
Michael, you're correct on lower. He's 37.
Just, God almighty. You could just see like, well, we lived a million lives in the BSK. Like they're just, God almighty.
Next up for Matty, Steve.
Right. Oh, well, this is cool because I know he retires when he's 38, doesn't he? So that's a year later. So I'd just lower, 36, which is insane to say.
The answer is, Matty, he's the same age as The Undertaker, but older.
Oh,
37.
oh, is he all right then? Oh.
Next up. Sorry, Andy. It's been doing the rounds, hasn't he? That he's like a year younger than Paul Heyman. Or like a year older than Paul Heyman, sorry. Like there.
Steve Austin or Ted Hankey.
Yeah.
Next one for Michael is higher or lower, Bradshaw. Now he's had a rough paper around Bradshaw.
Yes, yeah. He's another one, man. Like, you just imagine, you know, when you see those American high school films and you're thinking, that can't be believable. This 18-year-old looks about 25, and then you meet an American 18-year-old, and it's like you're face to face with like mid-career Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. You're like, what are they feeding you over here? Like the, I'll say, what are we on for Austin? 36.
37.
37.
It's tight. I'll go lower. 35 for Bradshaw, I'll say, because I feel like there was a bit of a sly age gap between him and Farouk.
Yeah.
So the answer is, Michael, lower, yes. Bang on 35. There you go.
There you go.
Solid that.
Yeah.
Right, the final one for you, Matty.
Okay.
Rob Van Dam.
See, I automatically just thought younger. I mean, he's got to be younger than Bradshaw, right? He's got to be, actually. I mean, no, I'm sticking with it. I'm not even thinking. He's got to be younger. He's got to be.
Matty,
No, don't say it to me.
you're correct.
Oh, thank God for that.
31.
Come on.
It's mad, isn't it? Honestly, it
What?
never fails to get me. Ah.
30, so hang on, by that logic then, because then you start counting backwards and forwards, don't you?
You do,
like,
you do.
So he's like getting busted with Sabu in the car, like a frigging teenager leaving a party, as like a 36-year-old man. He's getting like popped for weed in his glove box. And he's in his late 20s when he's like in the ECW arena breaking out, and he looks like a teenager there, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like he ages like working as that TV champion, he ages about 10 years in a year, doesn't he, Van Damme? He goes from looking like really fresh-faced and all that, and then he's like all of a sudden the veteran of the ECW locker room with a bit of stubble on that. Yeah. Aye. God, man, not like it. Not like
so it. The final one, Michael. Higher or lower? On this day, he saw clearly. Edge.
Edge. What we saying for his age? There was a lot of funny stuff going around, wasn't there? When it was like, when he was it him and Christian in the main event, and it was like the combined age of this match is like 110 or something. Yeah. Because they were both mid-50s guys. So this is 25 years ago. 31. 25. I'll go lower, like 29, I'll say.
I reckon lower.
You're correct. Lower. It's 28.
I'll take that.
So there we go. We end up on 5-all.
That's all right. That's all right.
What a game.
Yeah, you did well there. You got some right spot-on answers, I'll say that. It's always interesting. Look like Rico, you think of him. Fucking hell, he looked about 50-odd, didn't he? Like back then, all the tan. Fuck me.
It's honestly, man, Matty's corrupted my brain. It's all I can think of now when I'm watching these old shows. Is like the age of them and the biggest gaps and things like that. Like we're doing like there was a Benno and Hamflett in your house where like Jake Roberts in the new generation had a face off with Ted DiBiase. And like Vince went, they've got a bit of history, and then he shut up because he realized he was talking about something from like 6 years ago, and that's 20 lifetimes in the night, isn't it? You know, you might as well be talking about the dinosaurs. You cannot mention that.
Genuinely don't know. It's the best though. It is just like Benno's explained it great to me, probably the best, and I won't do it justice explaining it back, but like, with the time and that, he said it's like we're the first. Do you agree with this, Michael? Like we're the first like generation to have access to our nostalgia at the click of a button. So like, you know, like if, as you say, we were in the 80s because you hadn't seen it for that long since the 60s. It was like, bloody hell, it was like so long ago. Maybe you know what I'm saying. It's like all our nostalgia we could just go back to and not miss it as much or not. And we go, oh yeah, it was 20 years ago, but it felt like yesterday. Whereas it felt like longer years. It's just a different. I love it though.
Generations,
I absolutely love it.
Generations above us, I just don't think gave as much of a shit either. Like
they don't care.
Like if you met an old worker, if you met somebody like Skinner, right this is right off the top of my head. It was like, Skinner, what were your memories of like working WrestleMania 8? And he'd go like, right, yeah, that was the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. What was me payoff? I got 300 that night because we were in a dome. Any nice memories of working Owen Hart? I got $300 because I worked in a dome. I was on to the next town the next night. It like now, like Sean and Brett used to talk about wrestling for tape. They were two of the few guys that actually thought about what it might look like when they got older, but none of them had that head on at all, did they?
Like shit, no. That's brilliant. Best ever.
And there we go. That's the end of the show. Matty, where can we follow you? Got any plugs, mate?
I'm not good at this, Andy. You think I should be getting better at this, shouldn't you? The amount of the shows to do with yourself, but just follow us over at GRAPPL there. You can find me over there. Obviously, Benno, JP, and Gareth there. Patreon.com/GRAPPL where we do a Patreon show each week. We're in Mixtape May, we're calling it this. Finally, Benno's come to the idea of, it's a good idea, and now we've got so many more mixtapes planned for down the line. But we've just done a good, I thought it was a good and just as right for the tribute to Sabu. They went through his whole career from all the promotions and all the different wrestlers that he faced, doing the justice, as I say, to a true icon there. But yeah, just follow us over there, Andy. Hopefully that's a decent shill for once.
Very good, Matthew.
Thank you.
Michael, where can we follow you?
Well, as a proud Grapple Patreon, I'm just hoping they don't pick Undertaker matches for Steve September. I don't want to see any more of that. You can find me anywhere you search What Culture. We do the What Culture Wrestling podcast, the videos through the main channel as well. I'm at Michael Hamflett on X, and I also, as I've mentioned a few times, currently reviewing all the In Your Houses with Benno, also of the Grapple, an extended British wrestling podcasters network that seems to be getting bigger and bigger and more incestuous by the month. So if you don't know where to find me by now, you just Google one of our existing podcasts and you'll find me there.
Great stuff, Michael. Been a pleasure to have you on.
Oh,
thank you so
always,
much. I
Michael.
love this, man.
Feels like it's been a lifetime for myself, obviously, doing an actual show with you. So yeah, thank you for coming on, mate. Always a pleasure. The best around.
Matty, man, you see my head's a perfect square. It doesn't need to get any bigger. You know that, man. It's thank you for having us. I absolutely love doing these. Honestly, man, it's a joy. So I appreciate you letting us come on and talk shit about your favorite wrestlers for a bit.
I was about to say, Michael, you must know that the genuine love it is for you, because you slate Steve so much, and I still love you. So there you go. Can we go do some good Steve stuff, mate? That we can. I
was gonna say, like, you've given me about 6 Stone Cold Hospital. Like, let's I'll have 5 minutes here with 1997. We'll be crying and hugging. It's fine. Like.
As ever, you can follow me at Oggy Part 3 on X and this podcast at GCP Podcast 1. Also, coming out soon is the latest edition of Nothing Can Like It, which features a supposed 5-star match on there between Johnny Storm and Sonjay Dutt.
Okay.
Off episode 16 of FWA TV. Go and check that one out. It's a million times better than Steve Austin and The Undertaker. You can go and follow that at FWA Pod. And there you go. That's the end of the show and the end of the plugs. And we'll see you next time for episode 4. Thanks very much, everyone. And goodbye.